Welcome to this episode of Jersey Baseball Show. We've got a very special guest in Jake Rappaport, the first player from New Jersey, or a New Jersey school, to be selected first team all region by the ABCA in 2021. First person in 7 years to get that honor. Welcome, Jake, and sure you're happy to be back in school and ready to go again.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Mike. I'm happy to be here. I've seen guys before on the show, so I'm happy that I get to take my turn.
That's right. You got to live up to Jared's expectations, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get right into this year before we go back and look a year behind and talk about the great success of last year. But you are back for year 5, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
we're using our COVID year here to play one last go around, and based off of last season, winning the conference, going to the NCAA tournament, having the incredible time down in Arkansas. Just tell us a bit about the excitement, not just from you, but from just seeing everybody again and getting ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I know after last year, the group of seniors, there was 6 or 7 of us still left. We started with 10 as a freshman class. We were lucky enough to keep enough guys that played all the time to be able to go 4 years and stick it out. And then we all sat there at the end of the year and we were like, we have a decision to make. We can either all go our separate ways for our last year, or we can decide to come back and try and just build off of what we had this past year. And I think it was a pretty unanimous decision pretty quickly that we were all going to come back, and we owe it to the program, we owe it to our coaches and our teammates to keep going.
So that's you and Paul, and who else are the other?
Yeah, so it's Paul and I. David and Julio Marcano are both back as well. We have another roommate, Evan Gagekis. He's a relief pitcher. He's back. And our first baseman, Nick Hussey, is also back.
Mm-hmm. And you guys came in at a time where, NJIT baseball was like fighting for survival. Is it even a viable program? I think it was right off of the 9-win season, right?
Yeah. So my senior year was the 9-40 season. Yep, that's right.
Yep. So that's what you're coming into. Was part of it like, hey, look, I mean, we are the first kind of class, and let's give it one more shot. And we could have left after last year with that amazing experience, but what's that say that you all wanted to come back?
Yeah, I think just it's the fact that we know what we've built here over the 4 years. Like you said, when we got here as freshmen, we were kind of nobody expected anything out of us playing in the A-Sun against all those really good teams down south. But when we were freshmen, we knew that we had a lot of guys that were going to grow into being everyday players for the next 4 years. And we knew that if we kept our work ethic that all of us shared as freshmen, even just immediately clicking as friends, and even before we were really teammates, we just knew each other from being in the dorms when we first got there. And we knew that we could build the culture that we eventually ended up building. And it all has worked out better than I think any of us had expected.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that, it realistically can be a thought when you come to school. Hey, before I'm done, I'm going to be playing in front of 10,000 plus in Arkansas in the NCAA tournament. But what were some of the things along the way that got you to realize anything is possible? Because that's a hell of a lesson to take out of here.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I think our senior leadership, our 3 captains, Jared, Paul, and Julio Marcano, they never wavered last year. They always knew hey, we have really good players. We have a really good mental game. We have really good coaches that know what they're doing, that are here for us all the time. They never gave up on us. So I think once the younger guys really started to learn that it's a long season, just because you play bad for 3 games or 4 games or 10 games, like we had been playing early in the season, you can turn it around in a 55 game season. It can happen. So I think we just stayed with the mentality that we could turn it around, and just believing in each other, and the upperclassmen, I think, really helped turn it around.
Sure. Now, you got a lot of attention last year for your season, which we'll talk about. But, some of the hitting stars, Julio being back for another year, he's not the kind of player that's usually at an NJIT, obviously. What excitement does he bring? I mean, he's somebody who finished the summer in the Cape, right?
Yeah.
To have someone like him and his brother back for another year, does that kind of make you think that bigger things are, even more possible than how we ended up?
Yeah, absolutely. The Marcano twins, David and Julio, they're both outstanding academic students. So when they came to NJIT, it was mostly based on the fact that they were going to become mechanical engineers. NJIT has a great engineering program. So to have them on the baseball team was just a plus. I mean, they're outstanding students. They work on building drones on their own from scratch, coding, all that kind of stuff. So like outstanding people, outstanding friends, and just having them as great baseball players is just a plus for us. So yeah, obviously when you see them in the lineup, you're at your best when the Marcanos are there.
For sure. Now, one of the things that really, I think, struck so many people across the country in June last year was the culture that you guys had built. I mean, the way that you competed down in Fayetteville, the gratitude that you showed to Arkansas afterwards, and the respect that you got from that community, those fans, the obvious closeness that you guys had as a team, as a program, kind of manifested in a lot of crazy comebacks last year. Where does that come from? Because like I said, when you all came in, it's not like you came into the saying tradition never graduates, but somewhere that tradition has to start, right? I mean, and so there was no tradition to graduate really when you got there. So where did that come from, and how did it blossom to what it is?
I think people always, like when we were underclassmen, we'd always talked about being best friends for the rest of our lives. And I think when you play like that with guys on your team, and it's not about just being teammates, it's about looking at the guy next to you on the field and being like, that's my best friend. Like, I cannot let that guy down. Like, I won't let it happen. And just being that close, like it's really personal for me, to be honest. Like, I went through a lot of stuff my junior year mentally that really made me not want to play anymore. And these guys saved my life. And it's just really, it's just a lot of gratitude and respect, and knowing that the guy behind you and in front of you would put their life down to help you or help the team or whatever is necessary to do. So I think, and then it's just easy to give that energy off to other people when they show you the respect that we try to give other people. Mm-hmm. It's just a two-way street, I think. So when we got down to Arkansas and we saw how respectful those people were of us in the way that we played and acted on the field, it was easy for us to say thank you and to try and show that gratitude back.
Sure. Now, your season, right? I mean, it was struggles your junior year, obviously, but you come out last year and crush it with 8 wins and 11 saves. And we'll say that you don't have traditional closer stopper stuff if you look at baseball, how baseball's played in 2021. It's kind of like a throwback as far as the way that you go out and pitch.
Yeah.
But you're not throwing it in at 97. There's no Devin Williams kind of crazy change up, trick pitch, anything like that. Why were you so successful, or what made you personality-wise so successful in that role where literally every game you're in is, close?
Right.
And what was where did the success come from last year?
So like I was previously talking about junior year, it really all kind of happened junior year. Like my father had a heart attack in January of 2020, and it kind of just shook me a lot. My whole family, it's just one of those things you go through. Right. So I was kind of pitching junior year, like the games didn't matter. And I felt like I was cheating my team. I was cheating myself, cheating the people that are supporting me while I'm out there. So we had to talk junior year. I spoke to the team about what I was going through, and coming back senior year, I just knew that I wasn't going to be that same guy. There was no way I was going to pitch the way that I pitched junior year. And I was going to do whatever it took to, like I said, not let my team down, because that's how I pitch. I feel like those guys trust me to be out there. So why should I go out there and not pitch as absolutely hard as I can? And then I feel like that goes into not wanting, like thinking that guy can't get a hit off you. So it's all my mentality is just go out, compete as hard as I can, and act, even if I'm not better than that guy, act like I am. And usually it plays out pretty well.
Yeah. So the key is, really, it sounds like, I mean, just truly wanting the ball. And
yes, exactly. I don't know. Because when you grow up, you're a little kid, everyone says, I want to be a Division I baseball player. And then you get that chance, and it's just, I'm not trying to take it for granted. I'm just trying to why would you not want to be put in the game? The coach asks you if you can pitch. I say, yeah, every time. Absolutely, I can pitch.
Either want it bad enough and find a way, or you don't really want it bad enough
or
and
you
make
don't.
an excuse.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, was there somebody along the way, or were there people along the way that really kind of put that mentality into your head? Because I feel like that's sort of something that develops over time.
Yeah. So Paul Franzoni has had a huge impact on me since we've been in college. He's my best friend. He's going to be my best friend till we're 80 years old. It's one of those friends you have for the rest of your life. You just know you're going to have. And he has that same mentality. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't let anybody push you around. You know that you're a good player. You know that you have a strong mental games. Just go out there and be a dog. And that's how he plays. That's how a lot of our guys play now. And I think that's another reason as to why we have had so much success the second half of the season last year.
You can't have a great turnaround without people like that.
Correct.
So you're down in Fayetteville, and I know we've heard from Jared. A couple months ago, right afterwards, we've heard from Paul over the summer. Talk about what that experience meant to you, right? Playing in the NCAA tournament. We'll even start back to seeing your name flash on ESPN. 12:01 when the show started. 12 o'clock. You guys were literally the first matchup. But, explain what that meant to your baseball journey to be able to go down there, play in a regional, have that sort of experience where it wasn't just, you played your games and that was it, but some of the other things you got to experience.
Yeah, of course.
How has that kind of changed you or added to you mentally?
Well, first of all, I know that those guys that play down there in the SEC and the bigger conferences are absolute studs. That is a fact for number one. Just flicking home runs, it's unreal. But just being able to be there and competing and having everybody see NJIT on TV, Albert Choi leads off with a solo homer in the top of the first inning, and it's like, holy crap, NJIT, like, who are these guys? Why are they hitting home runs against Arkansas? But for us, it was just like, hey, they're a Division I baseball team. We're a Division I baseball team. Nobody expects us to go down there and do anything. So why can we not just go down there and play freely, play like we play and show people what we can do? And I think we did a really good job of that just by the way that we were greeted by the people at the games that we weren't playing in. Our big thing was going back at night and watching the night game. Everybody was there. That was the big game, 16,000 fans every night. And just seeing the people walk up to us and like giving us high fives and shaking our hands and wanting to take pictures. And we were in the outfield in the pen, in the hog pen, and guys on our team were like trading shirts with Arkansas fans. Like, it was unbelievable experience. Just so happy for our guys, our younger guys, for their first year. Like, I couldn't imagine how I would have felt if that was my freshman year and I'm going down to Arkansas to play in a regional after your team starts 7-17. It was an unbelievable experience. So we were just really blessed and appreciative of everything that we received down there, and just tried to play as hard as we can on the field.
Now, New Jersey had not won a New Jersey school had not won a D1 tournament game since 2011. So it'd been 10 years. In fact, the thing was, Coach Papaccio was a player.
Yep.
The last time they won was Seton Hall. His team won then, and so the first game back and forth, and you struggled a little bit, but SEC team, you're in the game the whole time, right? Certainly, the way you guys performed was something that opened up a lot of eyes. You get to game two, and you got, again, you're probably on fumes at that point. Got the ball, 3-1 game, 8th inning. All of a sudden, it's 3-2. You're still up. You got the ball in the 9th. Want to show a clip here of the end of the game, and you take us through what's going through your head at that point, but B, also kind of looking back on it.
Okay.
And let's kind of take it away here.
As Crossan put a charge into it.
It's kind of become the fan favorites from Arkansas fans. You got Arkansas fans behind home plate throwing their hands up.
Pop up. Albert Choi gives way to the right fielder. Ball game over. And NJIT, as Blum takes care of the final out, victorious here.
Yeah, so just usually when the game ends, I'm usually pretty good at trying to hold my excitement until after the out is made. But I know as soon as the ball went in the air, that Blum was going to catch it. Our right fielder, he was an outstanding defensive player, and I just started jumping in the air as the ball was coming down. I was just freaking out. I knew Longo, our catcher, was going to run out to me, and just the whole thing was amazing. Just extreme elation and happiness for our guys. And our starting pitcher, Ryan Fisher, did a great job of getting the ball to me with the lead in the 8th inning. And I knew that a solo home run wasn't going to be the end of the world because the solo homer couldn't tie the game at the time. So that happened. And you would like to have a clean slate, but just knowing I had to go back out there for the 9th and get 3 more outs was really all I was worried about doing.
Lifetime thrill, I'm sure, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
My parents and my brother were there to watch, and all of our fans that had traveled mostly from New Jersey and New York. We have a bunch of guys from California that their parents came out. So it was just an unbelievable experience for them and for us. And I'm sure for them to see us win a game, our parents were probably so happy and so proud. It was awesome.
And the kind of low key underrated thing here that you can hear on the clip is, that little roar that goes up from, right. That wasn't all NJIT fans that when that last ball is hit and caught. And how did that feel?
I think just showing the Arkansas fans that they previously how hard we play and all the recognition we were getting and how we were handling that, just trying to be as grateful and respectful as possible. I think they were pulling for us. So they definitely were. I mean, I also don't think Arkansas would have really wanted to see Northeastern. They were a fantastic team. So if they would have beaten us and moved on, I don't really know. I would think they would have rather honestly have likely played us. But either way, I think they were happy to see us win. A small team from New Jersey that nobody knew about before getting down there had pulled off a really big win against a great team, and they just wanted to show their happiness and respect.
Absolutely. Now, from there, I said, again, that kind of brings us back to now. You've got freshmen coming in at an entirely different point in the program than when you came in, right? So
Yes.
In your mind and some of the other 5th-year guys' mind, what message, whether it's outwardly or just through the way that you go about things in the fall, do you want them to understand about NJIT baseball?
Just it's a bunch of guys that love to grind, love to work. We have guys that hit every day at night, extra hitting, extra defense. Just we got to keep going. What's the point of talking this talk if we can't back it up when the springtime comes, and it starts now? Practice is so important, lifting is so important. Just you can't stop. You're here to go to school, and then you're here to play baseball. And you should be able. I think you should be able to handle those things in within a day. 24 hours is plenty of time. So just keep going, like I said, and when we stop, hopefully it's with the conference championship ring again and another trip to a regional.
And in plans after college, I know it's a year away, but
So I have plans to going to law school. I've been thinking about being like a sports agent, working in sports front offices, maybe. Also thinking about joining the military, becoming a JAG officer. I think that would be really interesting to do, something very cool, something I think that matches my work ethic. I think it'd be a cool match to join the military and go through all that stuff. I also love America, would love to fight for our country anyway. So I think that'd be amazing. Kind of just going with the flow. I'm worrying about the season and what I'm doing shortly after that. But
if you go the sports agent route, there's certainly a lot of baseball talent in South Jersey, where you're from, Highland Regional High School and throughout that part of the country. How did South Jersey kind of impact you, mentality growing up down there and how, crazy and intense baseball can be? And, what does it say about baseball down there, the success that it's had when you look at the past draft?
Yeah, so I think I think also I'm a huge Philly sports fan, huge, all 4 teams. And I think just watching how they play and how their fans act when a team is good is like, if you play hard, you will be respected and people will treat you the right way. So I think at Highland, I have a bunch of friends that we all played, and it was kind of just like, yo, let's try and play like the Phillies, or let's try and play like the Eagles, play as hard as they do. And then that's every game is a good game in South Jersey baseball, in my opinion. There's never really a bad team that you see a 20-0 high school score like you do somewhere else. And I think just being able to play good competition every day and not knowing that you can take a game off is important in development, and just also playing against your friends. You don't want to lose to your friends. So being able to, like, you play your friends at a different school, like when we would play Triton, it was always have to beat Triton, have to beat Triton, have to beat them. And then when you lose, it's like the end of the world. So
Everybody knows everybody.
everybody knows everybody. Exactly.
You got to deal with it if you don't win.
And I just think that pushes guys to be better. We've had a lot of success in the draft over the last couple of years, like Solometto and Petty this past year. Unbelievable pitchers. Playing hard team, playing really good competition, I think pushes a lot of guys to get work in and during the off season, so they know that they're better when they come back in the spring. It's amazing. South Jersey baseball, I think, is extremely underrated, and it really frustrates me.
We will we'll hopefully be doing something about that this year and this summer when we move the down there and open up our ACBL team down in West Deptford. That'll be fun. And Jake, one last question. Yeah, so 5 years in school, what's one thing you wish you would have known when you started that you know now?
That you can't waver. The season's way too long. You can't, if you start off poorly and you don't pitch for a couple weekends, it's not because you're a bad pitcher. It's because there's a couple things you have to work on during your bullpens, during practice, during catch play. And you can't become a bad teammate just because you're not personally succeeding as much as you thought you were going to. So you just have to you have to stay even keel. You can't get too high, can't get too low. You just got to stay on course. 50 games is a lot of games to turn your season around.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're glad you got a full season, hopefully, here to finish with.
Yes, sir.
Give it one last go around, kind of rewrite history again. And best of luck, Jake.
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate it.
Again, Jake Rappaport's our guest this week, Jersey Baseball Show. You can catch us on youtube.com/Generals Baseball LLC, and look forward to seeing you play this fall and this spring.